great job. Great job. There. I thought this was just perfect for the subject. I couldn't think of anything else that would be more vibrant and joyful and full of life. And what is life itself but an expectation, isn't it? It's an expectation of another breath. Whatever. We take a deep breath, recognizing that life is very dear. And we're meant to be joyful. We're meant to be excited. And I just love the excitement that photo demonstrates. So if you say to God, this is terrible, God says, terrible? You haven't seen anything yet. Just wait. And if you say to God, this is great, God said, great. You haven't seen anything yet. Just hold on. What do you think? Do you believe that? Do you believe that after I've shouted it to you on Sunday morning? And on the way home, you already start thinking about your troubles. And there's no way over it. No, Frank doesn't. Frank never does. He always stays positive. And positive outcomes. And that's what we're always looking for, isn't it? Positive outcomes. And expecting them. So what do you expect? Seriously, think a minute. This is a question. What do you expect to happen in your life? What do you expect to happen? Good question, isn't it? Do you have expectations of good things, or are you a person who has fallen into a pattern that responds with, well, with my luck, the absolute worst is going to happen. I just know it. It always has. It always will. Bad luck follows me around. Everywhere I go, I can't get away from it. Have you ever done that? Do you know anyone that does that? He said no. Julian said no. So we've spoken many times about the energy of expectations, haven't we? It's what we talk about here. And about your way of thinking, both positive and negative. And that subject deals with what happens when you direct your consciousness towards something positive or something negative, like the energy of worst outcomes. And if you could interview most people around the world about life, what they would most likely would tell you is you're born here, and if you're lucky, you won't have a terrible accident. If you're lucky, you might be prosperous. If you're lucky, you might find a mate that you can spend some time with, but only if you're lucky, right? And I think that's what most people would tell you. They think it all depends on luck. No matter what their belief system is or what they claim on Sunday morning, when they're out in the world, they seem to think it all depends on luck. And of course, what we talk about here is the law of expectation, but it's been called a lot of other things. Ask and it shall be given, as Jesus said. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it will be open to you. What do we think that meant? We obviously thought he was talking to somebody else and not us, right? Who do we think he was talking to? Ask and it shall be given. And he didn't say, but when you're having a bad day, or when your mother-in-law doesn't like you, or whatever but you might throw in there. He said clearly, distinctly, ask and it shall be given. And nowadays it's commonly known as the law of attraction. Doesn't matter what you call it. It's the same energy. There's an energy that we know is an energy of love. And if we can align ourselves with that energy of love, our lives will appear to be magical. And all those naysayers out there are going to still stand around and say, oh, she has all the luck. Look at that woman. Look how lucky she is. If I had her luck, I'd have all she has too. Right? Right. Sure. As all of us explained to you when we had those 8 weeks of interviews, our beginnings didn't look all that glorious, did they? Or all that perfect. Been through some highs and lows. I tell you what, I have had some angels with me all my life. And I've known it. And I claim them. So there is an energy of love that comes directly from the source of all things that brings forth to you what you are calling for, what you're aligned with. Now listen to this, there is free will and choice. So it's your choice. You can continue to struggle if you want. And that's your choice. Or you can open up, allow the source of good to come into your life, align with that. And your life will get better every single day. It's most likely not going to happen in a moment, but it will happen. A lot of people call this quantum physics nowadays. I don't know much about that. Rick might explain that to us sometime. I don't know. I don't understand that a whole lot, but I do know how it feels, this energy that I'm talking about. You see, I'm an intuitive and I'm a feeler, and I've been that all my life. I haven't turned to scientific understanding or information. I don't need that because I have an intuitive feel, and I know when something feels right and when it doesn't. And you do too. Each and every one of us has that, and all you have to do to enhance it is to be willing and to ask. I would like to have the ability to know, to feel what's in my best interest, to quit making what I've perceived as wrong turns. We can ask for that. So when you go to this heart space and you ask for divine truth and knowing, here's the thing. There are no judgments. There are no resentments. There are no biases. No hatreds. You can't get there if you're holding someone in judgment. If you're wanting someone else to be punished and you're holding that in your heart instead of wanting peace and love. So start clearing that away so you can allow love to enter that heart space. So this sending an intent out, I set my intentions for good. It works both ways, as I said. And if you're a person that's always looking for the worst case scenario, you're going to find it. I read an article, by Alan Cohen, and he was saying he had created a great workshop early in his career. And this workshop was being held at a very rustic building. And he didn't have the confidence then that he does now, this many years down the road, as being a spiritual healer and a teacher and having the success he has. He has great confidence now, but he didn't then, and it was one of his first workshops. He said there was a woman there that complained the entire time. The room wasn't good. Getting to the facilities, the path wasn't good. The temperature wasn't right. You name it, she was not happy with anything there, the food nor anything else. And so he was questioning himself. He knows now. He's been in enough of those scenarios. He doesn't lose his confidence like he did then. And he said that he really was questioning what the decisions he had made and whether he had chosen the wrong place for the venue. And a woman that he knew that attended his workshop, and then she went with the same woman to another place in Maui at a really exclusive resort, expensive rooms, the whole bit. And he, when she got back, she told him, or he asked her, how did it go? She said, oh, well, I had a great time. But if I had only been with myself instead of taking this woman with me, she complained the entire time. The room wasn't good enough. The service wasn't good enough. Therefore, nothing in her life, I'm telling you, if all you can do is look for the bad, that's what you're going to find. Always. Same principle. Same thing. So in Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, the hero always believes that they will move toward their goal. Always. They're not steeped in the past, nor are they invested in dark things. So how do we go about this? Changing from being a person that sees the worst instead of the good, always expecting some calamity instead of something wonderful. We use our intention and affirmations to reframe our story. I know Marcus shared with us a couple of weeks ago how important this is in his life, claiming those affirmations. And he's up there shaking his head, yes, right now. Up there. Those affirmations, how they've changed his life and his story and brought great things into his life. Train your mind to steer away from those worst case scenarios. And we've placed it in the bulletin so that you'll remember this one, how to pray. Dear Spirit, guide me to the people, the places, the things that are for my highest good. You can even throw in there this or something better. Thank you. Amen. You could say that a dozen times a day or more. There is a power in setting your intentions and the use of your thoughts and words to bring about positive change and results. Use that power. There's a potential within each and every one of us for the highest. There's that potential. You can claim it or not. It's your choice. And if you do these practices, you'll begin to establish new programming in your life. And the old, such as, I just know I won't get this or that since I never do or have. You can let that go. I don't care who programmed that into you when you were young. Both your parents, your church, the school, your whomever. You can reprogram yourself and release that. And there might be a little fear or resistance there that says, well, gosh, what if I always expect the best and I don't get it? Oh, well, poor thing. As Matt says, poor thing. I bet they'll get over it. No. Expect the best. So this attitude sends out the energy that things will not go well for you when you say, I just know I won't get this or that because I never do. Well, my goodness, you're writing your future. Your next moments and the ones after that. And we know that things won't go well for you. Then surprise, they don't. It's simple, really. It's simple. And I'll just keep repeating it till we get it. It's hard to get out of those old patterns and wanting someone to blame. Wanting a resentment to hold against someone. It's all fear. Marianne Williamson said in A Return to Love about A Course in Miracles that everything is either love or fear. And the more you think about that, the more you'll realize it is true. And if you have a thought or a plan of action, what is your deepest intention here? Is it for good? Is it for love? Is it to show someone else up? Is it so you'll look extremely intelligent or more so than others? What's the purpose here? And we can all all you have to do is think about it, and you trust me, you can peel away enough of those layers. You can get down to that core concept. And it's either love or it's fear. And if we're wanting to hold someone else in judgment, it's truly fear. Because the thing is, while we're holding someone else in judgment, we don't have to think about ourselves or what maybe we've done. We can throw our anger onto them like a mirror. We don't have to think about ourselves when we're doing that. So just like this beautiful, vibrant, sweet little puppy, we hope you're expecting something good, something vibrant. And if you're inside, hiding away from life, I've got some words this morning of encouragement, if I can. You need to move. All life is movement. And the moment you cease moving, then you're declining. So get out, get up, get your motor revving. Can you rev your motor now? Get your motor revving. Inertia. Now think about this. Rest is a good thing. Inertia isn't. That's something different. Inertia begets inertia. You're sending out a vibe for the future when you do that you do not even have the energy to get up and get out into the world. I'd say, let's declare all of these pandemics over. Let's get out of fear. Don't even read the headlines. If it's a headline that looks fearful, ignore it. We've been there, done that, and we're not going back to that. So if you're still inside hiding, I need to remind you, and you may even have something in your life that is just as significant. Inertia begets inertia. Get your motor revving. Get out there. If you're looking for a job, get out of the house, go walk, go run, go for a drive, whatever you need to do to get out and about. Don't hide from the world. We're meant to live. We're meant to share our love, our light, everywhere we go. And you do. Just like we talked about last week that Beth brought up about the 100th monkey. And I've talked about with those grapes. The grapes that give off a chemical, a pheromone, a fragrance that encourages the other grapes to wake up. I want you to have that fragrance, the fragrance of God, that everywhere you go, you say, I expect good. I'm sharing that with you. I want you to pass it on. Thank you for your time.